little bit of Sam Bankman-Fried news. So it's not looking too good for Sam Bankman-Fried, folks. He's hugged his parents and he is denied bail. He is sent to an overcrowded hellhole Bahamas jail as prosecutors say he hid $300 million or stole $300 million from FTX exchange. Oh, and he also hid $300 million in a Brazilian firm before the collapse of FTX. That's a new one. Every time I look at like a story about Sam Bankman-Fried, there's like a new charge or new accusation. So he's in this horrible Bahamian jail, okay? It's called the Foxhole Jail. Might as well call it Shithole Jail. And I was trying to get some information on this jail. I found this article, this guy who just got out of here a couple years ago. Read you a little bit of it. It's not a great place. This is from the guy who stayed in the jail. This guy was brought up on cocaine charges. The familiar scent of human filth permeated the air is what Charles Rowley remembers as a constant during his 15-year stay at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. Rowley was incarcerated after being found guilty of transporting large amounts of marijuana and cocaine from Jamaica into the Bahamas and onto the United States. He spent many years on remand waiting to be tried in court. Then he was eventually convicted and the maximum security corrections facility became his home. After a letter appeared in the Tribune earlier this month by a former prisoner detailing allegations of horrific treatment to inmates at this prison. I don't even know where to start, but I can tell you the first thing I remember was waking up each morning to the smell of shit in my nostrils, he said, graphically remembering his imprisonment. It was 3 of us in the cell, so that alone should tell you. We conditioned our minds to deal with the state of what we had to deal with. Most of us N-words, as he says, most of us N-words who had guns held to our heads before or got shot or stabbed. Based on that helped us to survive in the prison. Jeez. Rowley said he was released from prison 2 months ago and is now searching for a job. He recounts the joys he experienced while locked up and what he refers to as hate crimes against convicts served up in the prison. I'm going to be honest with you. We had our moments of joy too. We had to do something to make the best of it. Oh my gosh. And he basically says in this article, like, the toilets hardly ever worked. They had to like shit in buckets in front of each other. I mean, this is a real dumpy prison, folks. Like, these third world prisons are no joke. Like United States prisons, yeah, they're probably bad, but a third world prison, they are just the worst. And I don't know how Sam Bankman-Fried's going to survive in this prison. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't survive. I mean, here he is right here going into prison. He's the only white guy, for one. Because Bahamas is like 99% African Americans. He's going to be the only white guy in there. He's a billionaire. People are going to try to take stabs at this guy. I don't know what kind of protection he's going to have in there. I mean, this guy, Sam Bankman-Fried's about to get the biggest payback in the world. And it sounds like he's going to be in this jail for at least a few weeks before he gets extradited to America. So talk about payback. You know, karma's a bitch. Karma's a bitch. You know, a few weeks ago when BitBoy was in the Bahamas trespassing and harassing the security, I was telling you, I was like, BitBoy better hope they don't lock him up because he does not want to go to a Bahamas jail, and this write-up is exactly why. So anyway, U.S. prosecutors announced the indictment today. I'm going to play a little bit of it. I actually like these prosecutors. These prosecutors are out for blood. You can see in their eyes that they know stuff that we don't know, and they just know that they're dealing with pure evil. And it sounds like more indictments are going to come, and they're going to be throwing the book at old Sam Bankman-Fried. So let's take a look, or a listen.
My name is Damian Williams, and I'm the U.S. Attorney here in the Southern District of New York. Now, 1 month ago, FTX, one of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchanges, collapsed, destroying billions of dollars in customer value overnight. And for every day of the past month, the dedicated prosecutors of this office and our partners at the FBI, SEC, and CFTC have been working around the clock to figure out what happened and to begin the process of seeking justice. This morning, we unsealed an 8-count indictment charging Samuel Bankman-Fried, FTX's founder, with a series of interrelated fraud schemes that contributed to FTX's collapse. I authorized these charges last week, Wednesday. A grand jury here in Manhattan indicted Mr. Bankman-Fried last week, Friday. We obtained a warrant for his arrest, and that arrest was executed yesterday in the Bahamas. Now, let me be clear. My remarks today are going to be limited. That is by design. This investigation is very much ongoing, and it is moving very quickly. But I also want to be clear about something else. While this is our first public announcement, it will not be our last. The indictment has 8 counts, but effectively, it outlines 4 different areas of misconduct. First, we allege that Bankman-Fried defrauded customers of FTX.com, the cryptocurrency exchange that he founded. Second, we allege that he defrauded lenders to Alameda Research, his proprietary hedge fund. Third, we allege that he defrauded investors in FTX. And lastly, we allege that he violated campaign finance laws. Now, let me say a little bit more about what we allege in the indictment. First, we charge that from 2019 until earlier this year, Bankman-Fried and his co-conspirators stole billions of dollars from FTX customers. He used that money for his personal benefit, including to make personal investments and to cover expenses and debts of his hedge fund, Alameda Research. Secondly, and relatedly, we charge that Bankman-Fried lied to Alameda's lenders about the source of the money that he was using to pay those debts. Third, we charge that earlier this year, in the midst of the crypto crisis, Bankman-Fried lied to investors in FTX about the fact that he had sent billions of dollars in FTX customer money to Alameda. And fourth, we charge that Bankman-Fried violated federal campaign finance laws by causing tens of millions of dollars in illegal campaign contributions to be made to candidates and committees associated with both Democrats and Republicans. These contributions were disguised to look like they were coming from wealthy co-conspirators, when in fact, the contributions were funded by Alameda Research with stolen customer money. And all of this dirty money was used in service of Bankman-Fried's desire to buy bipartisan influence and impact the direction of public policy in Washington. To anyone who is watching this or hears about this prosecution, if you believe that you have been a victim of these schemes or you have information about the conduct that we've alleged in our indictment that we've unsealed today, please let us know. To any person, entity, or political campaign that has received stolen customer money, we ask that you work with us to return that money to the innocent victims. And to anyone who participated in wrongdoing at FTX or Alameda Research and who has not yet come forward, I would strongly encourage you to come see us before we come see you.
Man. So think how many people at FTX right now are shitting their pants because this guy is not playing games, folks. You know, a lot of people said, oh, like, why isn't Sam Bankman-Fried arrested yet? And I kept saying, folks, it takes time. It takes time. What I think probably happened is that ugly wench who was CEO Alameda, I think she basically turned state's evidence on Sam Bankman-Fried, and that allowed them to go after him a little bit quicker, because I thought it would actually take a couple months. But folks, this is how the wheels of justice works. It takes a little bit of time. In this case, it only took about a month, and now Sam Bankman-Fried is probably getting ass fucked in a Bahamas prison. So karma is a bitch. It really is a bitch. And that's why I always say, like, you don't want to mess around with these government agencies. Like, if the SEC sends you a letter, like I always say with Bitcoin or BitBoy, probably not a good idea to make a video mocking the SEC. Do you want to be mocking this guy? Do you want this guy coming after you? You really don't. You really don't want it. You have to have some common sense in this life. So I'm not going to play this whole thing, but I like this guy. I think Sam Bankman-Fried, I mean, he's done. He's done. It's over. So very good stuff there. The question is, how many other people are going to be brought up on charges? How much money is left in this bank account? What happened to all the money? The guy, well, basically later on in this video, this prosecutor says this is one of the biggest frauds in U.S. history. So that's how big this thing was. So I mean, that's really all they have to say. And the new CEO of FTX was testifying in front of Congress today, and he said it's like the worst he's ever seen. It's like, he said they were using QuickBooks to manage billions of dollars, like something you would use for like your business in your garage that has like $10,000 a year in income. Like complete scam artists, completely incompetent, complete crooks, and they were taking everybody's money and buying real estate with it in the Bahamas. So anyway, not looking too good for Sam Bankman-Fried. He's rotting in jail right now in a Bahamas jail, denied bail. Federal prosecutors are on his ass. He's waiting for extradition, and that's it, folks. So the long arm of the law has prevailed. All right, so that's it. I just want to do a little Sam Bankman-Fried video because there's a lot going on with this, and I want to give you guys a little insight into this jail in the Bahamas. It's a real shithole. It's the kind of jail that you see in those lock up abroad videos. Like I said, you never want to get locked up in a third world country. People just don't understand that. Sam Bankman-Fried is going to regret setting up shop in the Bahamas because he's going to wish he was in some nice federal prison right now in New York State, because they're not going to like him in this jail, and any of these inmates bribes any of these guards, it's not going to be good for him. It already looks like the Bahamas, the SEC in the Bahamas was trying to steal money out of FTX accounts, so they're all crooked over there. That's just the way it is in these places. And we'll see what happens. I'm curious. I want to see if Sam Bankman-Fried even survives a week in this jail. So it's almost kind of sad when you think about it, because the guy, what potential he had. If he just ran the exchange normally, he'd be a millionaire. He'd still be living in the Bahamas, but he had to get greedy, and now he's rotting away in a third world shithole prison. All right, folks, talk to you later.